Do you remember?
You know, a long, long, long time ago, I was a first grader too. You can hardly believe it because I'm almost 100 years old. So a long, long time ago, I was a first grader. And I was a first grader. Did you notice I talk a little funny?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The reason I talk a little funny is because I was born in another country, not in the United States. I was born in the Netherlands, in Holland. And in Holland they speak differently. And when I came to the United States, I had to learn English. And I'm still learning. You speak better English than I do.
Because we were.
No, when I was a first grader in Holland, things were different. You know, we had, of course, Christmas, where we had Santa Claus, but we did not have it like you do together. We had it separate because our parents were so worried that we would mix up Santa Claus with Jesus, because Jesus is far and far and far more important than Santa Claus. So what we did in Holland, we had a separate day for Santa Claus, December 6th, and we had, that is exactly the same day as today. And then at Christmas time, we did not have gifts. We had candles and lights, but we did not have gifts at Christmas time. All our gifts were at Santa Claus time. Now, Santa Claus was just like your Santa Claus. He had a red suit, and he had a white beard, and he had a taper. But in this country, Santa Claus comes with an automobile, with a car. In Holland, in those days, we didn't have cars, so Santa Claus came on a horse, and he had a helper. His helper's name was Pete.
Pete?
And he brought gifts to every home that had children. Now, he didn't put the gifts by the front door. He had Pete go up the roof, and he put the gifts through this chimney, and then the gifts were by the mantelpiece. So we wanted, as boys and girls, to be very, very nice to Santa Claus. See, that's the way he looked, on a horse with his red coat. So we wanted to be very nice to Santa Claus, and we thought, what can we do for him? Well, we knew Santa Claus was on a horse, and what does horses like to eat?
Hay.
Hay? And what else did they like to eat?
Carrots. Apples.
Apples and carrots. So what we did, we had wooden shoes. Have you ever heard about that? Wooden shoes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Holland was very, very wet country, a lot of rain, and wooden shoes would keep your feet nice and warm. So everybody was on wooden shoes, but not in the classroom, because that would make a lot of noise, like that. So we put the wooden shoes on at home, and then we came to school, we hang our coat and our wooden shoes underneath our coat, and then we would go to class in our socks. Well, we thought, what can we do for the horse and for Santa Claus? Well, the horse likes hay, and the horse likes carrots, so we put our wooden shoes with hay and carrots like this. And we put those next to the chimney, so that when Pete's helper, when Santa Claus helper came down, he would take the carrots and he would take the hay and he brought it to the horse.
What about the
And then
shoes?
he left gifts. So it was a wonderful, wonderful time, Santa Claus time, because then all the gifts came. Now, about 2 weeks later, we would have Christmas. And we would have a tree like you have, and we would sing Christmas songs. But all in Dutch, of course. But, you know, Jesus understands Dutch just as well as English, so that was not a big problem. Now, the wooden shoes were wonderful to wear, but we were always very proud. On Sundays we could wear our regular shoes, like you have, leather shoes. And that was a wonderful thing, because that was something different. But the wooden shoes were great, because you could do all kinds of stuff with them, and you never get wet feet. Now, they would wear out because they got thin, all the walking. I have one of them. You see the hole in here? So then, when we had the hole in it, we put a piece of paper in it, and some that we could wear them a little longer. Anybody have any questions about that? So we talk about Christmas first. We had the Christmas just like you, and
There was something
We had
special
two
about your
gifts.
Christmas tree. How did you light your Christmas tree? Did you have lights like
yeah,
this?
yeah.
But didn't you also
But not
have...
with electric lights, because we didn't have electricity. So we had candles. Maybe 100 candles. Small candles, white or red, and they would have them lit. And that was, of course, dangerous, because our parents were so afraid that the Christmas tree would go on fire, and that would be dangerous. So when we had a Christmas tree party at school, we got all the kids together in one room, and we would sing Christmas hymns, and our teachers would have a bucket of water underneath the Christmas tree, just in case it would burn, then they could quickly throw a bucket of water to the Christmas tree.
Does that sound
To
dangerous?
the lights, that they wouldn't burn. And then, of course, no gifts, but we got a wonderful, everybody got a bag of candies, a little bag of candy, and everybody got one gift that was very, 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 very special. And that was a gift that we only got once a year. And it was so wonderful that everybody was always looking forward to it. And what do you think that gift was? That very special gift that every kid got one. An orange. Oh, you say an orange? That's nothing special. Yes, it was very special for us, because in Holland they grow apples and pears, but no oranges. They came from Spain, from a warm country, so we never got an orange. And then when at the first grader, the first time they got an orange, they thought it was an apple, because it kind of looks like an apple. And they would take the orange and they would bite. Oh, they would bite on this, on the outside of the. And it tastes terrible, of course.
I actually did it once. I swallowed
So then the teacher would tell them, now you have to peel a little bit, and then you have to put it to your mouth, and then you have to squeeze, and oh,
Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze.
wonderful. So that, that was the orange gift. And then we would sing songs, and we would all go home with our candy and our orange. Any question?
Do you have a question, Zach? Is it a question, Zach?
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah,
Because-
Zach, what's your question, Zach?
I can't hear it.
What was Santa Claus' name?
What was Santa Claus called?
Santa Claus.
Can you say that, first graders?
Santa
Santa Claus.
Very
I knew that one. I
You heard of
met him
Santa
before.
Claus?
We
Araya, what's your question, Araya?
How old are you?
How old are you, Mr. Reinsma?
I am 90 years old.
I thought you were 99.
And next
No, 90.
month I will be 91.
Wow,
92,
that's pretty
93,
amazing,
94.
isn't it? Madeline,
You
did you?
know, that is very, very old. Because when I was a first grader, there were no automobiles, there was no telephone, there was no electricity.
But there's now.
Everybody had a horse. It was kind of fun in a way.
I think
That sounds like fun, doesn't it? Madeline, what's your question?
I know you would like that. I would
Ava,
not like that.
what's your question, Madeline?
I have those wooden shoes, but they're dolly size.
Can you tell us the story about when you were a boy, what happened at school with your wooden shoes when you were having a contest one time?
Think
I don't know. It's kind of naughty. Do you think we should hear his story when he
You
was a
think
little
you
bit
should?
naughty?
you think you think I should tell that story? That
Yeah, what do you think, first graders?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
that naughty story?
Yeah, I think so, don't you? Then we'll learn not to do it,
Really?
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have enough on our shelf.
Okay, I will tell it. You know, I told you before, we all had wooden shoes, right?
Yeah.
And you could do all kinds of things with wooden shoes. Sometimes we could fight with it, and that wasn't very good. Our parents didn't like that, but you picked it up and you could really hit each other with it. But there was another game we played. Have you ever done that yourself? When you have shoes with no laces, like these, and you do this, you know, the shoe flies off.
Yeah, I
Right?
did that once in gym, and then
Have
I
you-
accidentally, and then it fell on my head.
Have you done that well?
Yeah.
Well, you can do that with wooden shoes too.
Oh, I got like.
And on the playground, we would do like that with wooden shoes, and the wooden shoes would fly, and then whoever got the furthest, there was a game. Well, one day, a very, very, very bad day in my first grader life, we did this with other kids, other friends of mine, and you know what happened?
What?
My wooden shoes didn't go straight. It went in a curve, and it went, and it went, and it went, and it goes, bang! Through the window of the principal. Oh, that was terrible. The principal, and our principal was a very, very tall man, 7 feet tall. He had a very great big head and a white beard and no hair. And he had big eyes. And I stood there and I was shaking all over. And here he came out of the office. Who did this? And I had to say, I did it. And I got punished. I had to write 100 times